Hello. Obviously, my hands are taking a while to moisturize themselves. If it looks fairly decent, that's because I moisturized these bad girls about like 3 times before I came on camera. Because the thing about the electronic weapons burning your hands, or indeed any type of irritant that burns your hands, when you're burned long enough, the skin barrier is damaged, right? So it affects the ability of the body to remain moisturized, or the ability of the skin to remain moisturized after that, which is why moisturizing is so important. It's because like when you've got a damaged skin barrier, while it's healing, it doesn't moisturize itself for a while because the skin barrier hasn't repaired yet. So this is what you get. You get like dry hands. Um, you do get dry skin after the skin's been burned, like it does tend to remain dry for a while. So if you're a targeted individual and you get these kinds of injuries and you feel like, you know, the burns are taking too long to heal, understand that there are a number of factors to that. Lifestyle is a factor to that. What you eat, what you drink, I say that as a card carrying junk food eater, like your lifestyle is crucial to that. Although I do drink a lot of water, which is why my skin looks like this. I drink a lot of water, a lot of lemon water as well. So, lifestyle is an important part of that. How old you are as well, because my skin doesn't heal the same way that it used to. It still heals pretty damn well because again, I'm very hydrated. Like most of the time, I'm constantly drinking. Even though I do get dried out by the radiation and I do get dried out by the electronic weaponry bombardment, I am constantly drinking. I'm constantly drinking. So, I'm pretty lucky in that regard. What was I saying? Yeah, lifestyle is important. Age can be a factor. I'm not that young. Okay. I'm 40 years old. I'm 40 years old. I'm 41 this year. Um, like, my life isn't that great and I'm not that young. I keep drinking, which is why I look like this. Which is why I don't look as bad as I could do in spite of, the bombardment of weapons. Yeah, your age is definitely a factor. Stress is definitely a factor. Again, that's why a lot of targeted individuals, on top of being bombarded with directed energy weaponry, are also bombarded with a bunch of cunts that descend into their lives and make it as much of a misery as possible. So the stress is like stress levels are important, age is important, lifestyle is important. When it comes to healing the skin and healing the skin barrier, which the gang stalkers love to damage, right? So all of these factors have to be taken into account when you're taking care of yourself. So with that in mind, I have to talk about with gang stalking in mind. That's why I made this video. With that personal service announcement out the way, I think the second part that I want to get to is that I believe that hypnotic suggestion is being used on me. Now, I've told you guys before that I do have voice to skull being done to me during my sleep, during REM sleep, like in order to create hypnotic suggestions. Because again, that's what they do to you. They want to make you as afraid as possible to reduce you to childhood level, stress you out as much as possible to make you more malleable for hypnotic suggestion through voice to skull, um, and to supplement that with weaponized brain frequency modulations, right? So I believe that hypnotic suggestions have been used on me, and I believe the word gaslight has been used as a triggering point. I believe the word gaslight has been used, right? And I also think that through code words and through hypnotic suggestion, the gang stalkers have been trying to affect my hygiene and the way that I smell because they think that reheating those nachos, and we're going to talk about reheating nachos in a minute. They think that reheating my childhood bully's nachos is somehow going to like increase the fear factor when it comes to the gang stalking itself, or increase the stress factor. But this is the thing, right? You know, when I do what I do to make myself smell good, like when I play around with fragrances and stuff like that, I'm not doing it because I'm traumatized. I'm doing it because it's fun. I'm doing it because it's enjoyable to me. I love coming into my place and wondering, oh, hang on, what did I spray there? Like I like playing around with this stuff. This is stuff that I like playing around with. This is not trauma speaking. And it takes more than me, you know, it takes more than stinking than, you know, for me to feel bad about the position that I'm in when it comes to gang stalking. I'm sorry. It takes more than that. I am so sorry. Like what, stinking, being involved in genocide. Like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. Shut up, bro. Oh. You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, they just stay reheating nachos, man. Like, trying to relive past traumas and shit. Bro, it's so ridiculous. Imagine trying to go to these lengths just to fucking try to kill my morale in some way. It's like, you can't make this shit up, man. And speaking of which, right, the gang stalkers did not learn their lesson from the last time they came in a comment section and tried me. They didn't learn their lesson. They did not learn their lesson. You know how I know that? Because when I was in like commenting on, um, when I was commenting on like a couple's video, I can't even remember the name, but I got screenshots anyway. Um, like I was commenting on this couple's video, right? And I was thinking, like, that house is spotless, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, cause you know, I have a messy house, right? You know, I have a messy flat. And it's like, because of my ADH, right? I like, it doesn't matter how many times I clean. I'm just like, I can't get it clean for the life of me. Um, you know, so I'm looking at this woman's people's house, and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, like the walls, the fucking floor, like everything's fucking spotless in there. And I'm just looking at this thinking, God damn, like how does that woman do that? And it's not a small place either. The place is not small. It is not a small place. And it was fucking spotless, right? So here I am kind of marveling at it. And, you know, again, it starts with an innocent comment. There's somebody in the comments saying, girl, that place is, you got a clean house. You can rest for a day. Because the whole point is that the woman is, you know, is on the couch all day while the man is out to work. You know, she's not cooking, she's not cleaning, she hasn't made his dinner. And then when he comes home, he finds her in the same position. Like, it's a whole thing of like, you know how like a lot of us try to hide our laziness sometimes. But I'm thinking, no, that house is clean as fuck. Like, you can rest as much as you want. And this innocent comment that I replied under said the same thing. House is clean. Have at it. Husband's got arms and legs and hands and ting. He can make dinner himself, right? And then comes another gang stalker trying to reheat my nachos, right? It might even be the same gang stalkers as last time. Along comes a gang stalker trying to reheat my nachos again, saying, y'all are worthless. And then I said, you know what? I said under this person, because it didn't occur to me at first that the gang stalkers were reheating my nachos. So I replied under that, isn't it wonderful that people who don't give a fuck about each other don't have to be together? Because I genuinely thought it was an incel dickhead, right? But then when they repeated worthless under my comment, that's when I realized it was a gang stalker. And when I say reheating my nachos, right, what I really mean is that The too reprehensible to live and too worthless to die line, it really, really stuck with the gang stalkers. It hit a fucking nerve. It hit a fucking nerve. And they want me to know that it hit a nerve. They don't want me to forget it. Right? And the reason why it hit a nerve is because they know on some level that it's true. Now, I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain, like, you know, seeing as the gang stalkers want to reheat my nachos, right? Seeing as they want to do what I do and try to get the same effect. Let me explain with a clear head, because like my emotions, you know, emotions don't give a fuck how intelligent you are. So let me say this from the position of being unemotional, of being rational, and of being clear, right? Now, I was in a very emotional place when I said that the gang stalkers were too reprehensible to live and too worthless to die. I was in an emotional space, but I was speaking from the perspective of the gang stalkers. I was speaking on the perspective of the people who hire the perps. I was not speaking on my own, you know, from my own beliefs, and I'll tell you why, right? Now, what gang stalkers do and what perps do, reprehensible shit. Foul fucking shit. And on top of doing the foul shit, they want you, the person that they victimized, to be their therapist. I've known people like that all my life. I've known abusive people who abuse the people around them, who are hopeless, who are hopeless and fearful every single day of their lives. And they want the people that they hurt to heal them so that they can feel like, you know, they can escape from their shame and guilt. I've known that all my life, right? So, I forgot what I said. I went off on such a tangent. I forgot what I said. That's happened twice now. So, yeah, like abusers feel hopeless every day of their lives, and they need the people around them to make them feel like it's not their fault, right? And that's kind of at the root of their anger with me, is because I won't make them feel like that. But let me come back to a rational and reasoned explanation as to why my statements are rooted in truth, okay? They've done a lot of foul shit. The gang stalkers have done a lot of foul shit. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The gang stalkers and the perps have done foul shit, and they will continue to do foul shit. But this is something that nobody has considered. Gang stalking is normal. I'm going to say that again. Gang stalking is normal. It is rooted in the weaponization of normal human behavior. Telling white lies, normal. Overreacting to personal slights and personal hurt, normal. Cognitive dissonance, mistaking your personal beliefs for fact, normal. All of these things are normal. Deluding yourself to the point where you choose not to see the truth, normal. Trying to use words and leaning on people's emotions in order to try to make something true and not sticking to your word, not keeping your promises, normal, normal, normal again. Abusive people using the people that they abuse as their personal therapists, normal, normal, all of it. When we look at the world and the way it is, it's all normal. Like, you know, and on top of that, like gangs of people getting together and gathering against people who seem abnormal and who seem like they're not one of us. That's a normal thing for human beings to fucking do. A lot of people, unfortunately, I wanted to convince myself for a long time that it was just a bunch of narcissists and a bunch of fucking sociopaths and a bunch of fucking psychopaths doing this shit. But gang stalking is basically the weaponization of normal human behavior. It's normal to prioritize your own interests and be so lost in cognitive dissonance you think you're doing good. And you think you're being selfless. All of that is normal behavior. Normal shit. Gang stalking is not about good or evil, even though like a lot of evil things are done to targeted individuals. It, like when we strip the layers back, it's about the human animal at its most basic. Who are you when you're like, when nobody's looking at you? That's what gang stalking is about. The rape of Giselle Pellico should have told everyone that horrible acts against other people, they're not as abnormal as we think. Gang stalking, we're talking about normal everyday life here. Now, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest, right? When I said that, it's too reprehensible to live, I was talking about the actions. When I said that perps are too worthless to die, I was talking about the economic factor, not reality. Not reality. The reality is ordinary people are not worthless. Normal people are not worthless. We have a society for a reason. We have civilization for a reason. We have a working system for a reason. We have all of these things for a reason. And that reason is ordinary, normal people. The same people that destroy this world are the same people who built it to begin with. Normal fucking people. So if I say that gang stalkers and perps, who for the most part are normal people, if I say that they're worthless, it's got nothing to do with reality or the reality of the situation. It's got nothing to do with my personal feelings. It's got nothing to do with life itself, and it has everything to do with economics. What this world prioritizes are the rare, anything that's rare and anything that's beautiful. But even if something's not beautiful, rarity trumps beauty every fucking time. Every fucking time. Rarity trumps beauty every time from an economical standpoint. Every time. And gang stalkers and perps, let's be absolutely real about the situation. Gang stalkers and perps are not rare. They're not rare because they come from everyday life. And if they come from everyday life, that means there's billions of them that can be mined for these types of crimes. There are billions of them. All it takes is one of these people to be called, 30 seconds. Can you do this? Sure, I can do it. Can you scream in the street? There are certain gang stalkers that have done like one little thing that they've been told to do, and I've never seen them again. Gang stalking is built on normal human behavior. It's weaponizing normal human behavior. And because it's weaponizing normal human behavior, and normal, ordinary people are plentiful, are they going to be easily replaced or not? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Gang stalkers and perps are easily replaced. That's where the worth comes from. And even then it's from entirely, like I said before, an economic standpoint. Because there are loads of them. When it comes to somebody like me, who actually became stronger and more, not more successful, but who actually became stronger and more evolved through gang stalking, through what's been done to me, somebody like me, I'm not the only one. I don't care. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one in the world. I know that. I know that for a fucking fact. There are billions of people on this planet. Billions of people and only one Empress Justice? Only one Marsha the Great? Fucking impossible. Impossible. There's no way. There's no way in hell that I'm the only one like me. There's no way. But I am rare. I'm too expensive to keep alive, but I'm too expensive to kill outright. As are many targeted individuals who know they're targeted individuals. They are expensive. The amount of money it takes to bury paperwork, to bury legal paperwork, the amount of money it takes to move us from place to place, the money it takes to keep us displaced, the money it takes to keep us institutionalized, the money it takes to fire electronic weapons on us, the money it takes to position people to stress us out with one particular thing at the right time, the amount of money it takes to hire one person to do gaslighting, like that, the money it takes to keep fucking targeted individuals sensitized, the amount of money and manpower it takes to hire trolls to come online and bother us. And then on top of that, because we're test subjects, because we're case studies, we have to be insured. Actually, every citizen with a working government is likely to be insured, likely to have a trust in their name. But that's for another time. People like the amount of money people have spent terrorizing and isolating targeted individuals. You don't do that for people who are common. You don't do that for people that you see every day. You do that for people who buck the status quo. You do that for people who aren't normal. Now, I've been trying, like I said, I talk out of emotion, and emotion doesn't give a single fuck how intelligent you are. Ever. And speaking out of emotion, I tried to say that I was normal because I was sick of everybody saying that I wasn't. I was sick of everybody treating everything that I did like I was a space alien. I was sick of it. So I said, oh, I'm normal. You're an idiot. No, I'm not normal. If I was, there wouldn't be this amount of money spent on me. There wouldn't be this amount of money spent on me. Spent on isolating me. Spent on, there wouldn't be this amount of energy spent on trying to maintain the lie that I'm not being gangstalked. And as for what happened on December 18th and 19th, how much money do you think went into that? How much money do you think went into pushing me to a level where I didn't recognize myself anymore? How much money do you think went into that? Remember, when I was coming home from Brighton, coming home from the fucking beach, the closer I got to Wooding Dean, the angrier I got. That means whatever weapons were being used to influence people's behavior, them fucking weapons were fucking strong. That amount of money spent on that shit? Worthless where? The amount of money that's been spent over the years trying to isolate and all that type of shit. There's no way. There is a whole culture, a whole mainstream media, all of this money is spent on lies, disinformation to take help and aid away from targeted individuals. None of this is cheap. None of this is cheap. None of it. Just from my situation alone, with the carpet, 18th, 19th December, when I did what I did, the circumstances around why I did what I did, all that type of stuff. The way frequency weapons were used, weaponized frequencies were used to influence my emotions. And what they made me do, push to the extreme, newsworthy. Let's not fucking play. Let's not fucking play. And then you uncover the layers. How many videos do I have on YouTube? How many videos have I posted on my Facebook Live? How many of them have evidence on it? How many of them have like accurate predictions on them? It's okay, I'll wait. Newsworthy. Think of the amount of money spent trying to keep that quiet. You don't do that for somebody who's ordinary. You don't do that for somebody who's normal. You just don't. You don't do that for a nobody. You don't do that for somebody like, you know, and these gang stalkers will spend God knows how much amount of money trying to convince you that blue is red. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. All the color coding, all like the amount of study and research, all of that. Don't piss me off today. Don't try to reheat my nachos trying to call me worthless and you're spending all this amount of money trying to convince me. Fucking knock it off. Don't try to spend this amount of money trying to convince me that I'm worthless. It like when you're worthless, when you mean nothing to no one, you got to figure that out for yourself. When you're truly worthless, you got to figure that out for yourself. Because nobody's going to tell you. Nobody's going to give a damn enough to tell you. When nobody cares, nobody's going to give a fuck enough to tell you. They're not going to care what your emotions are. They're not going to care how you react. They're not going to get any sense of power from you being angry or sad or happy or laughing. Get the fuck out of here. Know what I mean? Like, stop trying to reheat my nachos and trying to convince yourself of something that's not true. You and I both know, like, come the fuck on, man. Please, stop. It's humiliating. And not for me either. It's fucking humiliating. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. You know. Oh, you have paralysis of any you're mad, you're worthless, bitch. I'm trying to hang on to this mic for dear life because, like, the delusion is crazy. But there's one thing I want to point out about how gang stalking is normal, and I talked about gang stalking being built on cognitive dissonance, like one of the things that it's built on. Another reason why I say gang stalking is normal is because of the amount of people who actually listen to targeted individuals. How many normal people, how many people who are not gang stalkers are actually listening to us? It's okay, I'll wait. How many normal people are actually paying attention? How many normal people are actually doing something to help us? In your own time. How many people who aren't perps are willing to believe that there are perps? Like I said, gang stalking is normal behavior. It's entirely not, it's weaponized normal behavior. It's weaponized human animal behavior. And that's exactly why you're too worthless to die. If I killed, like I said, the only good perp is a dead perp. I meant that. But again, if I killed you, like, again, all emotion aside, let's take emotion out of this. if I killed gangstalkers tomorrow, if I kill perps tomorrow, what am I going to be institutionalized for? Killing people that are easily replaced? I'm not easily replaced. I'm rare. I'm a rarity. And you can tell by everything that's being done to me. I'm a fucking rarity. You can tell even more by the way that I've responded to what's been done to me. I am a rarity. And rare trumps everything. You're talking about, like, you know, if I'm so worthless, like, really think about it. Really think about how long I've been unemployed. Think about how long I've been ill. Think about, like, how I used to look then and how I look now, right? You really finna tell me that you're gonna waste this amount of time trying to make an unemployed paranoid schizophrenic feel bad? You're going to spend this amount of time lying to, bullying, gaslighting, stonewalling. You're going to spend this amount of time and energy fucking with somebody who is like to you a useless eater. Knock it off. Knock it off. What does it say that somebody like me, who you've tried to financially abuse, like, no, who you've basically abused into a corner, what does it say that I'm still worth more than a lot of the people that you hire? What does it say? What does it say when I'm still worth more than ordinary people financially, to the point where you won't even kill me outright because you're too scared to? You're too scared to. I'm the T.I. I'm the fucking T.I. There are people walking around here too scared to section me, too scared to arrest me, too scared to kill me. I'm supposed to be the target. Me. Too valuable. That's why. Too fucking valuable. There's too much information that these people want to mine from me as to why I don't behave like a typical T.I. Too much. Like I said, you don't spend this amount of energy trying to convince worthless people that they are worthless. It's like being ugly. You got to figure that shit out for yourself. There are a lot of ugly people out there that don't know. There are a lot of worthless people out there that don't know. There are a lot of dumb people out there that don't know. Because they have to figure it out for themselves. People will not tell them. They're not going to go out of their way to tell them. Now, I call my perps dumb every single day of their lives, but, you know, again, speaking out of emotion. Let's take emotion off the table. When you're truly worthless, when people truly don't see you, you got to figure that shit out for yourself. When you're truly worthless, when you're truly not worth anything, you got to figure that out for yourself. No one's going to tell you. Because if you're worthless, they don't care to tell you. That's why it's like, why are you trying to reheat my nachos to prove a point? You're wrong. And you're lying. Again. But yeah, the more you go through this gang stalking program, the more you start to understand it's just normal behavior. And people are going to say, oh no, it's not normal behavior. No, it's not normal behavior. If it wasn't normal behavior, T.I.s wouldn't be T.I.s. This shit would have been buried quick. A lot of T.I.s would have had all the money they need or all the finances they needed to start over. T.I.s in this world would have been well looked after if that wasn't true. But it is. Gang stalking is just basically just weaponized normal behavior. And that's all it is. And, to boot, how many of us try to avoid unlucky people or, people who go through a lot as much as possible for fear that you will go through the same thing? So many people do that. That's why people strive, in their media and in their, in what they watch and in what they see, they strive towards empathizing aspirational people. That's why. It's normal. All of it. And look at us T.I.s. Do we look aspirational to you? Apart from that one girl stalked by the feds, and even then, because of the subject matter she's talking about, even her being white, blonde, and thin, even that isn't enough to get normal people to fucking pay attention. Because talking about gang stalking, talking about the reality of what human beings are, it's not glamorous. It's not aspirational. It makes people feel bad. It makes people feel bad. So yeah, I'm sorry to say, gang stalking is very normal, which is why it's so widespread. But it also highlights that even though human beings are not worthless and are never worthless realistically, from an economic standpoint, if they can be easily replaced like that, what does that tell you? The fact that gang stalkers are so common, what does that tell you? And when I say gang stalkers and perps, you got to include the flying monkeys in that. What does it say that so many people are liable to be gang stalkers? What does that say? What does that tell you about the rarity of such a person and about the replaceability of such a person? What does that tell you? All emotion off the table. So, as for the trolling, it's annoying, but like in certain places, it's actually quite entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. The gang stalkers yesterday, after the revelation of this, and after me saying that, the only good perp is a dead one, they have been bouncing off the walls like for the entire day yesterday. Had people helping them, taking stuff out of their flat, like going back and forth to, trying to make references to, oh, we don't like black people because they're trying to be sarcastic, right? Like, bro, shut up. Shut the hell up. Shut up. It's ridiculous. Engaging in ridiculous behavior, reheating it like it's bad enough that you reheat my nachos, but reheating your own? Ugh. Just coming up with the same stupid insults constantly. And it's like, again, it's cognitive dissonance because the reality, like, it's just not hitting. The reality is not hitting. Just thinking that the same old insults trump, we destroyed the entire planet. That's crazy. Thinking that that destroyed the entire planet, that's just wild. We destroyed the entire planet. Like, how does me being, bro, to think that me being fat, like to think that is anywhere near on the same level as genocide is nuts. Nuts, bro. And a lot of people telling me I'm not that big. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Because I think I'm pretty big because, I used to be quite skinny when I was younger. What do you guys think? Hmm? I don't know. I mean, if you see my neighbors are quite skinny, right? This is how I look. Hold on. Let me get a good distance. This is how I look from a distance. I'm trying to, maybe I got to turn this on. It's a mess back here, by the way, because I'm still moving. Okay, so this is how I look. This is how my body looks from a distance. They get a little bit closer. And because this is quite wide, I've got to cinch this in. I don't know. Some people say I'm really big. Other people say I'm not that big. But, you know, there's a lot of strung out people here in Brighton who got that drawn and thin from addiction. So, and if they haven't got drawn and thin from addiction, then they've really worked out, because there's a lot of fitness freaks here in Brighton too. So I don't know. You guys tell me. You guys tell me. But I kind of oscillate between thinking I'm fat because, you know, I've been skinny before, and thinking that I'm not that big because I see people who are like bigger than me, and I'm going to be real about it. So, fucking, ooh. You know what? Let me calm down. Let me calm the fuck down. Like, I see women who are bigger than me, and their shape is T. Their shape is T. So I kind of oscillate between thinking I'm fat and thinking I'm not. But either way, me being fat evidently does not mean being worthless either. There is nothing anyone can say to me to make me think that I'm worthless because of their fucking actions. Because of their actions. There is nothing that you can say to me to convince me that I'm worthless. Like, you can talk about my race, you can talk about my, you know, all the things that make me me at the moment. You can talk about that. But like, being fat is not the same as being worthless. Being black is definitely not the same as being worthless. We've seen that throughout history. Being black, being a woman is not the same as being worthless either. Again, we've seen that shit through history. Having mental illness is not the same as being worthless. History. Being neurodivergent is not the same as being worthless. None of these things are the same as being worthless. It doesn't matter how much money this world spends trying to convince you that all of these things make a person worthless. It never has, and it never will. And I had to be gang stalked. You know, I had to have multiple attempts on my life throughout the years just to figure that out. There is no, like none of these things will ever make you worthless, ever. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. Like, nothing in this world will ever make you worthless. What really determines worth is how you handle what is supposed to kill you. And that's not even by my standards. That's by Nazi standards. That's what they build their Ubermensch bullshit around. How do you respond to things that are supposed to kill you? How strong do you become through things that are supposed to kill you? That's what they base their fucking standards around. And they're trying to rewrite the genetic script by trying to make white people, or white, blonde, blue-eyed people, the most resilient, the most this, the most that, the most this. And it's been done over fucking centuries. White supremacists have literally spent centuries trying to rewrite humanity to make sure that white people are at the top of the pile. They don't just want to keep saying it so that people believe it. Remember, when we talk about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, there's transhumanism behind that stuff. He wasn't just surrounding himself with like people like Donald Trump. He was surrounding himself with scientists. People who are interested in transhumanism, people who are interested in remaking humanity. Now, let me ask you this. If it is superior people that we're dealing with, if it is chosen people that we're dealing with, and I'm not talking about the Zionists, I'm not talking about Jewish people, I'm talking about white supremacy here. If there are certain people in the world that are so much more superior, why did so many resources have to be plundered to prove your point? Why does transhumanism exist at all? Why does transhumanism exist at all? If the elites are truly so much better than us, why do we need transhumanism at all? Why is it needed? Why do they need transhumanism to make themselves superior? Why is it needed? If human beings are so superior, why do we need it? Like, if certain human beings are so superior, if any of us human beings are superior, why do we need a slave class at all? Why do we need a slave class at all? If we're so superior and like we got it like that, I don't care what race you are. If you are fucking truly superior and you're truly, why do you need to gatekeep information? Why do you need to gatekeep education? And why do you need to do it through violence? And not just physical violence, psychological violence. Why do you need to gatekeep everything if you are truly superior? Why do you need gang stalking if you are truly superior? Why do you need transhumanism, mind control, all this extra shit if you are truly superior? Superior people do not need to plunder the world of most of its resources for this shit to prove a point. When you are superior, you just are. You know that for yourself. And you help people, you help the people around you, not just because you're a good person, but because you genuinely don't see the people around you as competition. And the gang stalkers are not doing that. My abusers are not doing that. The people who come online to troll and all that type of shit, not doing that. They are competing with every single motherfucker in their lives for attention and victory. Another normal human thing, by the way, to compete for attention and victory, especially attention, because we're so, again, like I explained in a previous video, we're social animals. So competing for attention, that's another thing. That's another thing that that's very human. But when you're superior, you don't need to. There are certain things you just don't need to do when you know you're superior. When you know you got it like that, there are certain things you don't need to do. And every day I train myself to understand the truth and stick to it. That's what I train myself to do. And this is why I train myself to do it, because you've got to watch people's actions. Fuck what they say to you. Watch their actions. Watch their actions. Actions speak louder than words. And pay attention. Like, speak with your actions, not your words. I came on my live. I often come on these lives with no audience and then upload it onto YouTube. Because, like, first of all, when I come on live and there's no one there, I'm teaching, I'm kind of learning for myself as I'm talking. I'm learning. And I know I shouldn't say that. Like immediate, yeah. Like, I'm learning as I'm talking a lot of the time. And, when I upload them onto YouTube and, there's a later audience that watches me, there are people who are learning what I'm learning. So, when I kind of hear about certain things sometimes I don't come online, strictly because I'm pissed off or strictly because I need to laugh at the gang stalkers, even though it does bring me great pleasure to laugh at them. Like, there's a part of me that wants to learn more about life. So I come online and I talk my stuff and then I watch my videos back and then I process things. But yeah, you can tell a lot by somebody's actions, what they choose to do, or, what they really feel about you, you know. So one more thing I gotta mention before I go. Oh my God, I got up really early this morning and I got brain fog. It's 11 now. It's almost time to eat. fuck. Oh my God. I can't even remember what I was going to say. I don't want to keep repeating myself because I've repeated myself a lot in this video, like I usually do. But yeah, when you're superior, there's just certain things you don't need to do. Like, if gangstalkers and perps and all the people in charge are superior, there's just certain things they don't need to do. And if you as a TI are truly worthless, there are just certain things that don't need to be done to you either. And I want to leave you with this, my fellow TIs, and this is probably what I was supposed to remember. You might be like me. You might be unemployed, disabled, and financially abused, as well as abused in other ways. I want you to remember, when they bombard you with weaponry, when they addle your mind, when they kill your relatives, when they take what's yours, when they try to humiliate you, or when they do humiliate you and intimidate you over and over again, I want you to remember something. You, as a targeted individual with next to no money, who is either unemployed or is struggling to find work, who is riddled with the illness, every time you get online and every time you tell the truth in public, you are going up against billions of dollars worth of big tech, defense, and pharmaceutical industry. And it's not even just those three industries. It's also entertainment. It's fucking media. It's communications. You're up against like global corporations who make trillions off the back of pain like yours so that they can manipulate the rest of the world with it. You are up against trillions of dollars worth of industry. That's what you, as, little old you, as a TI who's supposedly worthless, supposedly a nobody, you are up against you're up against trillions of dollars worth of industry by speaking the truth and by refusing to be silent. Little old you against fucking Goliath. Again, nobody where, worthless where. That's what you, in speaking out against your pain, you asking for help, that is who you are. You are the David to a massive, sprawling Goliath. Don't you ever underestimate how important you are because of what these fucking cunts say. Don't you ever underestimate your worth. Don't you ever underestimate your position. Just by talking, you have pitted yourself against trillions of dollars of industry. And that's not to make you feel hopeless. That's to remind you how fucking powerful you really are. Little old you, that's how powerful you fucking are. You're that fucking powerful. There are billions or trillions of dollars being spent pretending you don't exist. That's how fucking powerful you are. The power that you have. Don't you ever, for 1 second, think that that's not the case. The power you have, it's not a fucking joke at all. You are that fucking powerful. You've got like trillions of dollars worth of industry dependent on your emotion, dependent on your fear in order to survive. That's power. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. The difference between this society rising and falling lie in your emotions. They lie in your emotions and your pain and even your pleasure. It's all revolved around how you feel. That's power. You need to understand that and you need to start using it. Understand. Start fucking using it. Anyway, do I have to go? Oh, yes. Yes, I think so. I'm trying to remember, like, if there's anything else I need to add to that, like, to that little thing I just said. I gotta go. I gotta go. Like, regardless of whether or not I remember, I gotta go. I got brain fog. So, I gotta call this a day. Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to talk about, like, 4G, 5G, and 6G, but, like, I'll write notes on that and leave that to another time because I don't know enough about that to, to comment. But yeah, apparently, according to an expert in microwave weaponry, apparently there are like 2 billion targeted individuals on the planet, but I don't know if I believe that. I'm going to be really honest. And the reason why I don't know if I believe that is because we understand how expensive directed energy weapons, microwave weapons, and, brain frequency modulation machines actually are. Now, we know that there are, I think there's like a facility in Svalbard that like emits frequencies. I have to do more research on that. It's like, I think it's in Svalbard or somewhere like that. Um, I think it's called Svalbard. I don't know, but it's like Svalbard. I got that from the Northern Lights. I don't know if that's a real place, but I know it's somewhere in Sweden. Um, that's supposed to have like a major facility that emits certain brain frequency modulations, but even then, that's expensive as fuck. Geomagnetic storms, all of that. I know that plays into it, which might explain why there's 2 billion targeted individuals. But for me, being a targeted individual is more than just brain frequency modulations, because again, if there are big enough machines, they can influence like millions of people at once. So if those weapons are strong enough and powerful enough, they can influence millions of people at once. But when it comes to targeted individuals, I truly believe that targeted individuals are not just manipulated when it comes to brain frequency modulations. I believe that they are also experimentees of directed energy and microwave weaponry. I believe they are experimentees of weaponized pharmaceuticals designed to, inbuilt with tracking systems and things like that. I believe that targeted individuals are experimentees in psychological warfare as well and propaganda, right? So I believe that in order to be a true targeted individual, all of these things have to be in play, and it has to be intense, and it has to be focused towards you as an individual, right? That's why we call it targeted individual. So whilst I absolutely believe that there are 2 billion people being influenced with weaponry, whilst I absolutely believe that there are 2 billion people being affected by 4G, by 5G, and by 6G, and by nanodust and Morgellons, I believe that. But when it comes to actual targeted individuals, I believe it's more intentional when it comes to the experimentation. And I believe that it's more focused. And I believe that it is more dependent on the family that TI comes from, or the community that TI comes from. I believe that TI is like the targeting is more focused. I don't believe that like there are 2 billion people out there all being hit with microwave and directed energy weaponry. That first of all, that shit would be too expensive. Even microwave weapons is pushing it, because the long range capabilities of microwave weaponry, even with 5G and 6G supplementing it, that shit is fucking expensive and uses a lot of resources in order to power something like that. So I don't believe, no, I'm sorry. I don't believe there are 2 billion. I'm so sorry. Like, that's just playing fast and loose with the definition of being a targeted individual. I truly believe that if it's 2 billion, it's 5G and possible brain frequency modulations from specific centers that have been built. And even then I have to do my research on that because I'm not entirely clear on it. You know what I mean? But with targeting, with targeted individuals, the brain frequency modulation manipulation becomes more intensified. There's more weaponry, DEW, EMF, microwave weaponry, There's more of that going on. There's more sonic weaponry. There's more, yeah. I feel like it's more concentrated and more intentional. And I feel like there's more community involvement. I do believe that the perps are also being experimented on as well. I believe that they're being experimented on the same way that we are. It's just that they're just being given a different position in the hierarchy because of their character makeup. But I don't believe there are 2 billion. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. I believe 2 billion T.I.s loose definition. There's no fucking way. There's no way. So, yeah. So is that it? No. I want to go. I'm fucking hungry. Like my brain is just doing this thing where no, that's not it. Please let me go. I want to fucking eat. I'm not hearing voices, by the way. It's just that my brain is holding a memory of something and I don't know what that thing is. So it's just like, what am I remembering? What am I remembering that I'm not remembering? I can't remember what I've forgotten. It's like my brain is a fucking, it's like my brain is a fucking remember all. It's like I can't remember what I've forgotten type shit. I can't remember what I've forgotten. That is so crazy. Oh yeah. V2K. You see? V2K. I forgot the V2K. I believe that when it comes to 2 billion people, I think V2K is entirely possible. I think it is. I think V2K is possible with billions of people with specific machines that are positioned globally. I think it can be possible. I think hypnotic suggestion with billions of people through the use of specific weapons, I think that can be possible. Combine that with like the propaganda that we see in media. It's not impossible. It's not an impossible thought. That's not impossible. But again, like when you're a targeted individual, it's all intensified. It's all concentrated. So yeah, I think V2K is possible to be that widespread. I think it absolutely is. I think voice to skull is possible to be widespread. I think it is. I think, but again, it depends on the reach of the machines, of whatever machines control brain frequency and, the radio frequencies that it takes to tune in with specific minds at a specific time. I think that can be done though, but I just think that if it's going to be done en masse, like I feel like it's sections of people at a time that are affected. So I feel like the V2K could be possible because, the less intense the technology is, the more reach you're able to have. So I feel like voice to skull could be possible for billions of, I don't know. That's a stretch, man. Might be a stretch too. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. That might be like the V2K might be a stretch, but the brain frequency modulations combined with media, absolutely. Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind that billions of people can be affected by that. Affecting people's emotions, in order to facilitate political movements like they did with George Floyd, like they did with Charlie Kirk. And notice how both these men, like Mars dominant placements, sacrifice. So yeah, I feel like that my brain is unlocking certain things. I can tell by the way political alignments are shifted, according to people's emotions. I do believe that there are billions of people whose brain frequency modulations are being affected at once. I do believe that. I do believe that's possible. Combine with the media, combined with algorithms becoming increasingly specified to the person. I absolutely believe that. When it comes to 2 million people being attacked with electronic weapons, I don't know, missus. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think directed energy, I think in order to be a true TI, like I said before, has to be DEWs, has to be EMFs, has to be microwave weapons. And because of the long range capabilities of these weapons, I don't believe billions of people are going through that. I don't. I really don't. Not billions. No way. Hundreds of thousands, maybe. I can just about buy that. Billions? No. No. So, yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Unless my brain wants to unlock something else. No. I'm telling my brain to communicate with me because I want to get it all out. I want to get it all out in this video, but I don't know. My brain's just doing its own thing. I think I gotta go now. Whatever it is that I'll remember later, and maybe I'll just write some notes so I can do a video on it later. But for now, I gotta get off. This video was longer than I expected, I'm not gonna lie, but I enjoyed talking. I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed working things out. And hopefully the next video will be just as illuminating. Take care, everyone. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye. I'm going to wait for that to go, and then I'm going to finish the video. There we go. Bye-bye.